Hello, it's John Lord here at the end of March, and a very, very nice day, a very warm day. And you know, the thing about Ireland is our good weather is loaned to us. So, and the charge a very high interest rate. So if you get one good day like we have got at the end of March, that's 70 degrees, you're going to get at least, you want to have to pay back at least 3 bad days. It's never equal. So we pay a good price, but it's worth it. Listen to the birds in the background, it's worth having. Now, I'm coming to talk about today a little bit of pruning. This Cotinus Grace, see where the way it was cut back last year? You can see the cut ends and the way it grew out and sort of fell. Now, this stone seat was here, so we moved it to there. That's the first thing we did. And what do we do? There are a number of ways of pruning this back. One is you'd go beyond the previous year and cut it right back to a framework, and it would still grow back perfectly well. I find the problem with that is it grows too strongly, and because of where it is, it gets whacked with the wind and gets damaged. So the second option, one we will go, is just a light conservative cut back last year's growth. Just like that, not too much. You don't even need that. There's a dead one that snapped off. So that's really all we're going to do with Cotinus Grace. With this Cotinus Grace, I have another one around there, and we're going to do something different with that. That's the first thing. Maybe you can see what this is a good example here. You can see the way it bent over, and it's under its own weight, fell over. So maybe with a lighter pruning, it won't grow as fast, and we won't have the same problem. Second thing we have to do is this Sorbaria stem, which I used to like, but it runs at the root, and that has to be got back. I used to like that plant in the beginning. I don't like it that much anymore because it's like a bamboo. It's nearly worse than a bamboo. But it's very good for a dark, wet part of your garden because it has lovely spring colours. But be wary. Now this, why did I plant bamboo there? It's completely wrong. And then I realised I wrongly planted another one over there. And then I realised there's always a reason stuff is done. It was done to stop people. People were looking at the pond. We've got an early water coming out, the pink one. And our turtles are finally up from the long hibernation. And what was happening, people were walking across here, so they were just put as blockers. So we just have to remove them back a bit. It's never ending. It's like painting painting the Golden Gate Bridge. When you finish one end, or the Forth Bridge, you finish one end, you have to start at the beginning again. But that's life. And there's that Sorbaria again. You can see. Now, luckily for us, because we have organic matter on the top, it sort of goes beneath that, so it's easy to remove. But it's a nuisance. So we won't do all this. About 10 minutes work. We'll sort that out. Every year. And any time you see ivy, how do you get rid of ivy? F-A-T, finger and thumb. I hate that ND hand. You just have to keep at the ivy. It'll be always with us, but there's no easy way. But if you do it regularly, as you're doing your other gardening, anytime you see a piece of ivy, just randomly pull it out. That's all you can do. And it's not that difficult. Don't let it build up. That's that. I'll let me take that one away. What do we do here? That's very spiky, and I would like to cut it back, but that's a deterrent. Stop the kids going this way. So we leave that. Look at what we have here. That's a very fine foliage rose, and it's seeded in there. It's called Rosa rubifolia, and we dig it up and pot it and sell it. It's a rose well worth having for a large shrub border. For contrast, the flowers aren't that big, so if you had a small garden, it wouldn't be worth. It's not good enough for a small garden, but for a bigger area, it's brilliant. That's. We'll go in here. Oh, we'll have a quick look at Hydrangea paniculata, Limelight. Very hard to beat. I could cut that hard back. That's what the Americans often do. But I will just nip off the spent flower heads. Now where's my secateurs? Right mess here. We had a very cold February, and it has slowed a lot of plants down. Plants are, so don't worry, things will improve. Nature always makes up. It has also made the weed situation much easier. Weeds are about 2-3 weeks behind as well, which is good, except for the willow herb, which is everywhere. So we just have to have a go at the willow herb. And there's the odd dandelion in there, and you don't notice the dandelions until they come into brazen flower, and you want to remove them, but you still like the flower. So you can see the new buds coming on, and they come on very, very strongly. At the end of next week they'll be that length, 2 weeks that length, 3 weeks that length. I could eventually cut it down, but I don't think it needs it. So we'll just spend a few nice minutes removing the dead flower heads. And I'd actually like to keep them on in the winter as a reminder of how good it was in the summer. Now we go around and do another bit of pruning. Can you hear the seagulls in the background? The seagulls are moving further and further inland. First of all, we have a look here. I won't have time this year. This is to be re-edged. We removed some of that bamboo. It got too much. We had a digger man in, and he removed big chunks of it in about 5 minutes flat, which is great. And big chunks. That's not really good. Phyllostachys, vivax, Aureocaulis, and we most of them went to good homes. So I hate throwing out good things like that. But it's not worth our while potting them up, because they're too big and awkward, so we just got rid of them, gave them to people immediately. Now, I want to look at this. This is what I wanted to show people. Very good Hypericum inodorum. It's grown primarily, it has little yellow flowers, but it's grown primarily for its lovely spring foliage. Not very springy there, and it's lovely berries which stay on quite a long time. That's a really good variety. Now what's the story here? What do we do? Now funnily enough, those leaves aren't going to fall off. Leaves falling off a stem of a tree or a shrub, it's an active process. The shrub actually makes a little sort of a barrier, and it falls off. So it's inactive. It's not something that is a result of the tree dying. Often when a tree dies, the leaves stay on. And the leaves stay on here because they were damaged, and so what will have to happen is they'll have to be removed. But is it worth doing anything with this bush? And in a situation like this, you look, you take the piece away, and we look. I think we'd bring it back to here anyway. We look. And look in there. It's coming up really, really well. This is going to be perfect. So, sorry about this bush, but it's for your own good. be careful. Little nice little things in here, and of course ivy everywhere. I remember a few years ago I had a Polish fella and he said, "You're such a great country, Ireland, you can grow ivy. We can't grow ivy. Where I am from Poland, the winters are too cold, we can't grow ivy." And I said, "You're very lucky not to be able to grow ivy." And he said, "You're very lucky to be able to grow ivy." So we left it at that. You always want what you cannot have. Well, actually, I'm not anti-ivy. It's brilliant for wildlife. I'm just saying, I'm just having a bit of a grump. But actually, ivy is brilliant in the countryside. In the winter time in Ireland, most of our trees are deciduous. The leaves fall off, and what gives the bit of greenery high up through the Irish countryside is the ivy grown through the trees. So the ivy is more sinned against than sinning, so to speak. Now, and it's a nice name for someone as well, ivy. That means good name. Popular name years ago, ivy. And at Christmas time, the holly and the ivy. We might as well do the whole bloody lot. We actually sell these, but this is the dodgy one. It wasn't saleable, so we always end up with a cast off. It's not fair. And our beautiful rose, Gertrude Jekyll beside. Yeah. Just give that a bit of a nip back. It's a semi-climber. It's David Austin, probably most famous one. And well named because Gertrude Jekyll is a superb gardener in her own right. I think that's it. Be looking in close. There's actually a very strong growth coming from the base. See it in there, David? Mm-hmm. Really, really strong growth. And of course, we've got ivy. There we go. And another one, laurel, cherry. We got a lot of cherry laurel as well this evening. That's going to flower. That's Spiraea Arguta. It's probably could do with a little nip back, but it's in flower bud, so we nip that back after flowers in maybe May. And this is Shirofugen. It's the last of Japanese cherries. Now I was hemming and hawing about removing this branch here. But I don't know, I haven't the heart, I'm going to leave it. Now, we just, as we're here, we'll have a look at this cherry here. It's looking lovely in the evening sun. It's absolutely beautiful. I've forgotten which one it is. I think it's Shirotae. really, really good. Beautiful. I only spotted it today. I've been so busy doing work in there that I haven't been out here for the last 2 weeks. But that's really, really beautiful. Now we're going to prune back the Cotinus Grace around here. Before we go. Maybe we might have a go at the yew hedge. The yew hedge has been a spectacular, really, really good success. We maybe cut that back a little bit. Except here, I think water from the container behind ran on and ran onto it and damaged a little piece of it. I think we dead. The entire yew hedge, one dead plant, which is not bad. It's not really that noticeable. The others will fill in, or maybe we'll plant one. Maybe we'll dig it up and plant one in there. What are we going to put in here? That's a lovely spot. Lovely sheltered north-facing spot. With a lovely background, bamboo canes. And that's a lovely white hydrangea later on. I don't know. You can get something nice for that. This is spring Dicentra, looking well, starting off the season. And a few nice Helleborus. I think that's Spring Festival, that one. It's really nice. I did a video earlier on. We cut the base of we cut the ivy at the base all the way around, and look, it's starting to die completely, and the tree will expand quicker, and all the dead ivy will fall away. I mean, I could, if you had time, you could go up with a ladder and take every bit away, but nature will just do it in time. What anemones? Can't beat them. And the ever reliable Geranium, macrorrhizum, evergreen geranium. It doesn't flower for a particularly long time, but it's a lovely neat ground cover for shade. Very hard to beat. Never gives us a bit of trouble. And a nice Pulmonaria. I think that's longifolia. Look at bees on it. I'll have to speak a bit louder. Those birds are could you anyway get those birds to, sing a bit quieter? Don't pay any attention to it. When we knock off here, normally at about 6 o'clock, the birds sort of, it's their place then. It's not our place. We're sort of interlopers now. Their place. Still looking a bit bleak. That's Eupatorium, and that's one of the last plants to come up. So it's from North America, Eastern North America, and so they've quite late winters, and so it doesn't bother coming up. It still thinks it's in North America, rather in milder Ireland. And look, we have this is all the way. This is willow herb, which is a present, as I mentioned before, from North America. We gave them purple loosestrife, fair exchange, and a few other things. Carria japonica, always welcome in the spring, will grow anywhere. Now we took bigger man, it took a buddleia out from here, so we have a nice spot here for something or other, I don't know what. So we're gonna, let's That's a lovely aster of some sort. So we're going to have fun there. Here's the Cotinus Grace, the other one. And we're going to do two things. This little one here is very suppressed. We're going to remove it. We don't need it. And we're going to cut that one back quite hard. Just got out of hand. But you notice it's much, it didn't flop down as much as the other one. It must be where it is. But I think, the problem is it's coming out over the, that's a really good aconitum, and over the catmint, so it needs to be brought back well in. I'm after breaking the thingy-bob. But we'll soldier on. And we can't get our money back because it's one of ours. See what I've done? When you go in now, you just catch your knuckles really sore. But we'll soldier on. So we can go way back. And to be fair, I abused them. You know, they're not meant for this. Nope. It's starting to grow. It's not really, just about. The birds have gone quiet all of a sudden. Oh, look. Froggy. There you go. Up you go. Put him in here. I'm 12 years old again. That's it. And the final bit of pruning we're going to do, and I think that's for the skip. We're going to prune a holly. Prune this holly. We're going to remove some of the buddleia back from it to give it a bit of space and shape it. But we're going to have a look at the back of the holly. You're going to see something very interesting. If you look at the front, see how well furnished it is. And we had a digger went through here a short while ago, took up the big bamboo that was taken over, and we had to make a decision, and we left two hollies, this holly and this one. See how well that looks to the front, behind, because of the competition from the bamboo. Now the bamboo's gone, so this will fill in itself nicely. We don't have to do anything with that. Maybe we could remove that from the prestigious beach. I left the saw up there. We'll do that in a minute. Okay. Move that branch. That's the prestigious beech. Now you could let that grow another about 30 feet, or you could cut it right back, even to 10 feet, and start it off again. Or you could get in one of these height for hire machines every year or every few years and clip it at that size, keep it at that size. Because it's the very same, it works the very same way as a beech hedge. It's just an upright beech, but it's really attractive. But we removed that anyway. Now you can see far side of this holly lawsoniana, and it's completely different. It's virtually no foliage, and it doesn't look, it hasn't got a nice shape. So we noticed, first of all, I noticed this, and that's, it's a reversion. It's reverted back to the green. So I better get that saw. First of all, here, I always like to prune this way up to point, so I have to get something. I'll get my long-handled shearers and bring it to a point, and I'm always very careful at the base, not to take too much in the base, because the base grows much slower right in the top. So be very careful. Take your time doing it right. Do it right. So the back problem. I don't think the loppers will even be strong enough for that. We use this. These are not reversions. These are something different. These are shoots that have not enough chlorophyll, and they won't really survive very well because they don't have enough green. But so nip them out. And notice there's amongst the ivy, of course, you've got the lovely red shoots. You might notice them in close, David. Gertrude podophylla, absolutely cracking plant, foliage plant for shade. That's not too dry. So we'll get him out here. That's the proper one. Now in nature, that's nature. That's one we've selected because we like the look of it. In nature, that wouldn't have a hope because there's more chlorophyll in that and it would grow quicker, so that would die out. But a sharp-eyed person selected that somewhere and grew it from cuttings. But if nature was to ever prevail again, that wouldn't last very long. Now, is that reverted? Is that reverted? Now that's green. I think we could probably leave that, cut this way, I've noticed something else in here. You're looking close here, David. You see, it was obviously tied to a stake with plastic twine, and the twine has got around it. But I don't think it's got the better of the twine, I think. But I never noticed it. Even the professional gardener gets caught. You often see the amateur going astray by letting stuff like that, by not taking away stuff like that. But anyway, I've broken it. It's going to be okay. But that's probably the reason the bottom ones have done so well, because the nutrients and water, whatever, was having trouble getting up because of that. Now it's going to be okay. Hello, it's a week later from what you've just seen, because we had a camera malfunction. Ran out of battery. Didn't happen on my day. Didn't have batteries. But so we're going to finish it off now. It's a week, and it's been very, very frosty, and we've had a -2. And we just go over and look. I know this is getting very long, but we just have a look at this hydrangea over here. And yesterday morning, the leaves were like this, and I was very worried because they're very unforgiving. If they get a late spring frost, you can end up with no flowers that year. Now it has come back a bit. I can see some permanent damage on the outside of some of the leaves. There'll be a bit brown in there, but with a bit of luck, the part that has the flower bud inside will be okay. It's touch and go. Maybe that little bit of shelter is going to protect it, but by right it's to be -2 tonight or tomorrow night. If it's a clear sky, we could have more frost, so I should really throw a bit of fleece on top of it. Look at the damage here. These Persicarias, they were lovely and lush about a week ago, and now look what's happened with the frost. That's a pity. The funny thing about Ireland is, if you have wet weather at this time, the wet and windy, miserable weather, you don't get any frost. But when you have nice clear skies, lovely weather, you get the frost. So the thing about Ireland is, when you get one bit of weather that's good, you always, as I said earlier on, you have to always pay for it a different way. But anyway, we'll finish off this video by giving a shape to this pony. Pyramid shape. And always be careful when you're giving the pyramid shape, to be careful not to go too far in the bottom, because it grows much slower at the bottom. You can do it, the top always recovers quicker. So it's probably best to do the top first and finish off at the bottom. Have a look. It's sort of strange times. You can cut plants, but you can't cut hair. we leave it at that. Anyway, that's it. And now we're going to do a video. Our next video is going to be on what we're a little bit of planting. And even though it's very cold, it's getting really cold, there's a lovely lightness and freshness about it as we move from spring into summer. And it's very important to remember in Ireland that April is the magical month, because most of the trees start off at the beginning of April with no clothes, and at the end of April they all have their clothes.